Boom, baby. We're alive with my good friend, Ryan Dawson. And we're going to talk about a inside job is what we're talking about here. So we got to be very careful because we're on YouTube. So here's what's going to happen, guys. We're going to jump right into the conversation. And then 20, 30 minutes into the show, when we have a large amount of people watching us live, we are going to shift to Rumble. So if you're watching me now, get ready. We have to shift to Rumble because we're going to have a very uncensored conversation that is not safe for YouTube. You guys know the deal is with censorship, the shadow banning, and all that stuff. So we're going to jump right into it. Ryan.
That seems to be every show I do. Can't do this on YouTube. Better go to Rumble. Doesn't matter what the topic is.
Yep.
A little too truthy.
That's our, those are the overlords. But how are you doing, man? What do you take of this, this last, week, 2 weeks of everything going on? A lot's been happening.
I mean, it was predictable and a lot of people did predict it.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't, I mean, that should add to it. You have to look at this in the context of everything else they threw at Trump, going after his business, going after his children, all the indictments, the double impeachments that they couldn't convict. And then this canard about saying he slept with a porn star and then he raped or had sex with some girl in Macy's, although that's not what he was charged for, her lying about him. It's ridiculous. They've thrown everything at him.
That was the Carol lady. What was her name?
Who cares? It's just some old. I know, but I don't like giving credence. And when I talk about these shooters, I'm not going to say their names either, because I think part of the problem is these incels are seeking infamy. Mm-hmm. And so I'll say the name of the location. I'll say the Buffalo shooter or this school or that, but I'm not going to say their name because that's sort of what they're after. Mm-hmm. These people are in a dark place and they're very easy to manipulate. We've seen some, in the past manipulated through Discord, and you'll see that there's feds and spooks in the Discord channel sort of grooming these people to become shooters, mass shooters. Has happened many times. And so I avoid saying it. And the same thing with false rape accusations. I'm not giving you fame. Mm-hmm. It's just a nitwit that named her cat vagina. And said
she was nuts.
She thought graping was sexy and that it wasn't physical or didn't have to be.
She said that on live television too. I know exactly the quote.
Anderson Cooper was talking to her. Yeah.
So we
BBC,
obviously
we'll call her.
We have like I said, we're going to talk in code a little bit here, just to not.
That's why I said grape. Just ridiculous.
But. This is crazy that this has happened. I think, though, personally, that this just solidified an election win for him.
I think he did more than that. They'll say that, the bullet missed Trump and it hit Biden. Trump was already going to win this in a landslide after that debate where Biden didn't know where he was. And he even called him Brandon and he didn't notice. Mm-hmm. But what this did was, not only is Trump going to win, this is going to be a MAGA takeover. The Republicans are going to take Congress, and it won't just be Republicans. It's going to be MAGA Republicans. Whoever he endorses, Trump is now the kingmaker. He can go in and say, you get one, like Oprah passing out prizes. You get to be congressman. You get to be congressman. Whoever he selects is going to have that extra Trump push. And in any state that actually has voter ID, they're going to win.
Yeah.
Which Arizona finally flipped to. It only took almost 4 years to get voter ID that every other country uses.
It was Arizona and Nevada too, right? Nevada, it's on the ballot now. They're trying to get it done there.
I don't know if they got it in Nevada yet, but they definitely got it in Arizona. I read that.
Mm-hmm. I saw
That's something else that exists. That should be every county. You need ID to buy alcohol, to drive a car, to do all kinds of things, but with voting, you got to have ID, at the bank or there's so many things. But oh yeah, you don't need it. And we all know why. For voters, for fraud. The mail-in ballots, there was no way to check where they came from. Someone could have filled them out in the polling office and just run them through the machines. There was no way to backtrack where they came from after they've been opened. They didn't even have to be open. You just have them pre-made. How many do we need? Okay. It was that bad.
Yeah. I mean, when they're putting cardboard on the windows of the places where they're absolutely, like, they're actually doing this stuff, like,
Exactly.
obviously, you guys are up to no good,
It's
so
silly, and it's where they get 800,000 votes consecutively for Biden, none for the Libertarian, which should have got around 1%, except when they forgot to put in a few for her. No, it was clear. It was election fraud. And the fact that they censored any talk about it also shows it, that you were not allowed to even entertain that narrative.
yeah.
I mean, you
I
could
got a
just be
YouTube
wrong. There
I
might
got a
have been
YouTube
not
strike
been.
in 2021. I got multiple YouTube strikes on this channel. I almost lost the channel because I said that the election integrity was compromised in 2020. They almost deleted my channel for that.
Well, it definitely was, even without any of the voting shenanigans, the fact that they straight up lied about the Hunter laptop and censored all social media that went counter to that. And we found from the Twitter files, the FBI, spooks, and DHS were interfering with social media, requesting that certain people get the volume turned down or turned off.
What is
That's election interference.
What is a spook? When you say a spook, that's a code word for what?
3-letter. It's for like CIA and FBI agents.
And what are they doing? They're just pretending to be normal people, radicalizing them through social media.
No, it's just it's a derogatory term, like saying pig for cop. We call the federal agents spooks.
Okay.
Oh, that's a word for another thing, but that's not the context I'm using it in. It's for 3-letter networks is what we call them. So your NSA, your CIA, your FBI, they're all 3 letters. And a spook is just an employee of those agencies. And what they were doing was approaching the trusted safety boards of Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and saying, get rid of this, get rid of that, don't allow this. They put the kibosh on BitChute links completely. It would come with a warning because they didn't control BitChute. So they said, okay, if we can't get the videos taken down, we'll just prevent them from being able to be linked by anything else. And yeah, they went after Dan Bongino. They went after it was almost all conservatives that they went for. And then all of us were kicked off YouTube. You were not allowed to question the Mexican beer. You're not allowed to question the election or any aspect of it. And you just weren't allowed to debunk any of the lies about Donald Trump. And I'm not a big fan of government, period. But I am a fan of the truth. And I made a whole movie called Trump Sinus Ball and Chain that goes over all his actual crimes. But the stuff they were accusing him of was straight up lies. And when he had the debate with Biden, he should have brought this up. He never brought up censorship. When he moved to Truth Social, he'd been kicked off Twitter and all that. He brought up the fact of the lies about very fine people in Charlottesville when he was talking about people for Robert E. Lee. He was not talking about neo-Nazis or commies or whatever. They knew that. They did a wrap-up smear on him anyway. The losers and suckers lie, the Russia hoax, the Hunter laptop that was true, and they said they had 51 intel saying it wasn't, the spying on his campaign that did happen when they denied it, all these things that he's bringing up, saying you lied about this, you lied about that. Yeah, well, that all would have been known, like the bloodbath lie. That one didn't work at all. Because that's after Elon took over Twitter. When they said Trump said that he's going to make a bloodbath if he doesn't get elected, people played the clips. He said it's going to be a bloodbath, talking about the car industry, how it will fall apart. That's all he was saying. And you could play the whole context, the whole clip. And so that lie didn't really resonate. But prior to Elon, when they lied about Charlottesville with very fine people, everyone thinks Trump was supporting neo-Nazis, because they would not let you show him totally denouncing them, because not the white supremacists, they should be condemned completely. I'm talking about the people for and against the removal or the preservance of Robert E. Lee's statue. That was the full context. He didn't bring up social media censorship at all. He complained about all the lies, but didn't talk about the solution. Free speech solves all this. And they're continually lying about the guy. They're equating him to Adolf Hitler, which, come on, he didn't murder millions of people. He didn't start any wars at all. He's not a fascist. He couldn't even stop riots in his own cities when Antifa and BLM were running around burning shopping malls and car lots. He left that to the states to take care of. He's not Hitler, but they keep saying it over and over again. And what that does is you dehumanize a person to the point where if they're a Nazi, how do we stop the Nazis? Through violence. And so it's code for telling people, well, if someone's a white supremacist, then they're not a human being, and you're allowed to do violent things to them. And that is something that Joe Biden has said. And Joe Biden even said that Trump and his supporters were an existential threat to the United States. The biggest threat to the United States.
Pelosi's been saying that too, a threat to our democracy. This bitch is an inside trader. She's talking all this shit. The greatest stock trader of all time.
Yeah, what a genius. It's absolutely inside trading. It's pay to play. And they're always guilty. Their accusations are confessions. What they accuse Trump of doing, of quid pro quo, is exactly what Joe Biden actually did, firing a prosecutor and then saying, if you fire him, you'll get $1 billion. He admitted it at a CFR meeting. His phone conversations were recorded by the anti-corruption agency in Ukraine, and they play that as well. I think that's one of my most popular BitChute videos, which was the only place I could put it at the time because you couldn't put it anywhere. And Rumble was sort of a question mark. It was like, are they gay or not? It's like spell an E.
Are you still posting on BitChute?
I simulcast now. BitChute has live streams now. So I do Rumble, BitChute, and Twitter. Sometimes I do Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey because Twitter's like way better than it was, but there's some things you can't say, too truthy.
So, inside job. I said this is inside job from day one. What are your as soon like where were you when you heard the news? I was asleep.
There's pretty strong evidence for that. So
I want to tell you real quick because I'm in Asia with you, right? And you're in Korea.
Right. We're in the same time zone.
I was dead asleep when it happened. My mom called me like 6-7 times. I thought somebody in the family died. And then I woke up and I saw the news. It was like a Saturday morning. And it was just crazy. Where were you?
I was awake because I have 3 kids and that's what happens. But I saw it. I checked my Skype and a guy from Britain said they shot Trump. Oh. And I thought, well, okay, what? I was kind of expecting. I actually had dinner with 2 prominent individuals that won't be named. They said they're going to have to shoot him and they're going to have to do it before the RNC. They have no other way of winning. That's the plan. So when I heard it, I thought, okay, did he die or not? So I immediately went through. I saw the clip of him grabbing the ear and getting up and pumping his fist and everything. I'm like, oh, they messed up royally. Whoever did this just handed it to him and handed him power for the whole Congress. Because when you try to assassinate somebody and don't, it's what happened to Reagan. They rallied around the victim. They rallied around the president. In this case, the former president. So, but I said, well, that's just my intuition. Like I knew who had the motive and everything and why they would want to shoot him. They've done everything else. This is like the final stage. If this doesn't work and that doesn't work and you can't get him in jail, then you blow his head off. And it was interesting that the shooter didn't just aim center mass. He tried to get a headshot. If he had aimed center mass, he'd be dead. You hit a guy that old anywhere and they'll die. But they wanted to blow his head off on TV. That was the big thing. In front of his supporters in mid-sentence, they just went to blow his head off. Well, because he aimed for the head, he missed. Well, I mean, he hit his ear. So he didn't totally miss, but that's the one place you can get shot. Yeah, stormtrooper aim. Is that what that is?
He did. No, stormtrooper aim, indeed. Somebody sent a super chat in $10. Nathan, he says, what are the odds Trump makes it to inauguration? Shooting, bombing, poisoning seem likely. I'm fully expecting some false flags too. And that's why I always keep a gun on me in America, Ryan. I am not going to get caught in some fucking false flag operation. That's my number one fear in America is the government, like our godfathers, wanted us to do.
You just turn your key and boom. Well, the shooter shot for the head instead of aiming center mass, and Trump, it just happened to be moving his head. He had him, I guess.
This is a lie, by the way. Scope. He didn't get shot in the chest. He did not. There, that's a rumor.
No, he didn't. He didn't get shot in the chest. He got shot in the ear, and then he had blood on his hand from grabbing his ear. He was not shot in the hand. He was not shot in the chest. If he'd been shot in the chest, he'd be dead. Straight up. The ear is about the only place you can get shot at that age. and survive. Maybe the hair, whatever. That's about the only place at that distance it'll blow through you. He missed him, but he killed another man and critically injured 2 others who are recovering. So he hit 4 people out of his 5 shots. But I mean, you're aiming at a crowd. It's not hard to hit somebody. But he blew it. And Trump had enough sense to hit the deck. Yeah. And then Secret Service very sloppily tried to make a circle of people around him. And the second sniper team, not the one that everyone's seen, the other one to Trump, like behind him to the left, got him in one shot, shot him right through the mouth, right through his front teeth. What a shot. They aim for the head because he's laying down. So that is the center mass is right there. So then they got him in one shot. That's what Secret Service can do. But we got to go through all the mistakes they made and why there is a very strong case that this was there was collusion here, and that this is, as you say, an inside job.
All right, let's this
is where it gets unsafe, because I've been talking to people, former analysts, CIA. I've been talking to everybody. I've been talking to people on the ground in Pennsylvania too, and I've got a complete picture for you.
Good. All right, guys. So like I said, we got over 300 something plus people watching us across all platforms, but we're all going to go to Rumble right now. So click this link right here. If you don't have a Rumble account, you can make one quickly on your phone. That way you can talk in the chat. I can see that you're there. That's the link right there, rumble.com. Go to Rumble. You can search me Modern Life Dating, all one word as well on Rumble. But we are going to be killing the stream here on YouTube right now. In 3, 2,